Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be playing around with our lovely little palette that we created on our my last video. This is basically duping out the Wilderness eyeshadow palette, which is, I think, kind of cool. I came up with this eye look, we did some lips, all that stuff. But go ahead and give me a like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the video. Alright, first I'm going to go ahead and start off with priming my eyelid. I'm just using the Juvia's Place Eye Primer Shade 1. I'll be using a e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush to blend that out. Next, I'm going to be taking the shade Undertaker from the Blue Blood palette by Jeffree Star on a Morphe M431, just a small pencil brush. I like this brush because I feel like it really helps to draw in the shape of my cut crease that I want. I'm gonna take the blue to like the outer third of my eye as kind of a guideline of where I want to stop with that color. Just fill this in and connect. So once we have that build up to this kind of look, I'm gonna go ahead and take the red shade. This is from Norvina 3, shade C2, using a Morphe M506 brush, just kind of a still small but fluffier brush. And I'm just gonna kind of tap just over the edge of the blue and start to diffuse. Next, I'm gonna be taking this shade here. It's Heartbreaker from Jeffree Star's Bloodlust palette, the purple palette. I'm using the exact same brush we just used, the Morphe M506, just kind of cleaned off a little bit. I'm using this shade to help to blend out this red a little bit. As we now have lost some of the red color, I'm just going to go ahead and dip back into the red. Same brush and kind of stamp that back on to build up my color. I'm just basically, again, using the same brush, just softly buff the edges. Next, we're going to go ahead and cut the crease. I'm just using a Morphe M224 brush, basically any kind of concealer brush, and just some foundation. I am using Juvia's Place I Am Magic foundation. One thing I really like about doing kind of what I did with using the pencil brush is it really helps you to kind of pre-map out a shape of how you want it to look, and I find, at least for me, this makes cutting the crease way easier. Next, I'm going to be dipping into this slightly metallic red shade from the Blood Sugar Jeffree Star palette, shade Blood Sugar, and using the Morphe M124, just kind of a small shader brush. I'm just going to go ahead and tap that kind of right on top of the blue. I'm going to take it almost, if you can see, to like the outside of my pupil here, if that makes sense, or like the little dot, and then just kind of using the brush to blend it in a little bit. You can wipe it off a little bit if you need to. Dip back into the Undertaker shade, that dark blue, and kind of re-stamp on there, just helping it to blend. As these two colors are not necessarily are not complementary colors, they're going to be a little bit tougher to blend, but as you see, they can still blend together. Next, using the exact same brush, I'm just going to dip into Norvina 2 shade D1, like this kind of frosty blue, and just start applying that. You can use a glitter primer for this step if you want to. I will be using one in a minute. It is completely up to you, but I don't feel like it's super necessary. Once you meet up with the red, I'm just going to take the same brush. I kind of brushed up some of the product and just kind of almost tap and pull, if that makes sense. And it kind of helps to blend it together. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and take some of the NYX Glitter Primer with another M124. And I'm just going to apply that into the inner corner, kind of following the cut of my crease. Alright, and then we're gonna dip in from the Normina 4. This is the shade E2. It is a pressed glitter, which is why I wanted to lay down that primer first. Really gonna help with longevity. This product does have kind of a base into it already, but when I've worn it before, it will not last all day, which is why I like to use the glitter primer. Next, I would say just kind of go ahead and go back, make any adjustments that you want to. I'm going to take a little bit more of that darker blue through my kind of cut crease a little bit, just to bring back that shape. I feel like it's kind of lost, and to make them kind of match up. A little more of the red. Next, let's go ahead and just clean up the edge of our eye here. We have a shape pretty good, but I just like to clean it up. I'm just going back in with the same foundation as before, and the same brush. You can use a makeup remover if you want to. I do that sometimes just to clean up the edge a little bit first. In this case, I'm being lazy and I'm not, so whatever. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly apply my foundation, and then we can be back for the lips, blush, contour, all that stuff. If you have any kind of facial hair like I do, I really find it to blend in those areas. I really do like to use kind of a more buffy, kind of stubbier brush. A sponge doesn't really get in there very well. This is just the Morphe M439. But you can kind of see, I'm not a big fan of buffing everywhere on my face, but I feel like in these areas of facial hair, it just really helps to buff everything in, so you don't have any, like, missing areas. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and just set the face using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Powder shade Lavender. And the brush I'm going to be using is a Morphe M48. Back into the eyes, I'm just going to draw a quick wing on using the Physicians Formula Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner. Alright, next I'm just going to go ahead and apply a mascara primer. I'm just using this one up, but this is the L'Oreal Voluminous Base Primer. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that primer dry. Next, we're going to go ahead and just use some blush and contour, maybe a little bit of highlight. To be honest, I'm not the best. I don't feel like doing blush and contour. I don't know. I never do it because I don't feel like I know where it's supposed to go, and I don't know, whatever. Let's go ahead and take, I have a NYX Taupe blush, but it mainly works as a contour for me. I'm trying to use this sucker up. Let's grab the Morphe E4 brush. Dip into that. Just gonna take it up near the temples. That actually does not look too bad. I really kind of like this color. See, where I feel like I struggle with contouring is like my cheeks here, and you can see I have a little bit of like indentation there, and so my brain would say, oh, that's where you're supposed to contour. But then like I feel like beauty is like, no, do it up, like up. And I'm gonna take our little buffy brush just to soften that a little bit. You can also use a sponge or whatever. I'm gonna leave the top right now because we're gonna do blush. For blush, and I really hope I don't regret this, but I want to play with the Clown Blush palette from Likely Makeup. I'm gonna dip into the shade Circus. I know, super deep shade. I'm just gonna use like a little bit. See, I think what's hard is like a part of me wants to put blush here, right? But then like, here's my bone, and I feel like that's where you're supposed to put highlighter. So it's like, I don't know, because it's like, yet when I smile, right, cheeks right here. And I know that's like super old school technique. I think it's just, it's like, I don't know where the hell you're supposed to put blush. Let's use our sponge to kind of clean that up. I think because we were here, we might as well do a highlight. So this is an oldie but a goodie, the Sleek highlighting palette. Does anybody else remember when this was like the rage? And of course, I bought it many years later when I saw it in Target. It was like, I should have this because all the beauty gurus talk about it. I'm just taking a Sonia Kashuk eyeshadow brush. I'm gonna regret this. I feel like I can see it. I don't know. Let's be cute. Let's put a little on our nose. That was probably the only place I like to do it. Is like a little bit higher up in my nose, kind of. Maybe it's a little glow to my face. Whatever. Okay, let's go ahead and finish up our eyes. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the Clump Crusher. This is a waterproof mascara. Well, the one I have is waterproof. From CoverGirl. Black, of course. And then what you can do as well is if you can kind of see, ooh, there's like, maybe it's not too bad, but if there's any bits where you feel like you're missing eyeliner or whatever, I usually, after I finish mascara, will go back in with that liquid pen and just kind of fill in anything I feel like I'm missing. So once the lips are lined to how I like it, I'm just going to go ahead and take Sugar Peel shade Sub-Zero liquid lipstick. It's kind of a dark blue kind of color, navy, whatever, with some glitter in it a little bit. And just allow that to dry down. Alright, and after that has set, I'm actually going to take this lipstick here. It is from KVD Beauty, or it used to be Old School Kat Von D. It's obviously completely discontinued, but it's the shade Dazzle. I love this. It's just a really pretty kind of thing. Hopefully there's other brands that make something similar to this, but just to kind of go along with our theme, basically it is a glittery red kind of top coat thing. So I'm going to apply a little bit to the lips. Just kind of as if it was lip gloss. If you're new here, I detest lip gloss. I get the idea of wanting something shiny, but, like, I hate the feeling of it. And that's why I love a product like this, because it's shiny, and it's pretty, and it's fun, I don't know. And there we go. Everyone, so we have reached the end of the video of playing with my dupe of the Wilderness eyeshadow palette from my singles. I really hope that you like it. I think it kind of turned out cool and all that stuff, and I really hope that you enjoyed just hanging out with me. If you did, make sure to leave me a like, maybe a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!